About a Man by Deertick. This was a request by Mike through Patreon. There's three parts to the song. Basically, we've got the intro, we've got the verse, and we've got the chorus. It goes around this picking rhythm, which is kind of the same, but he just does little variations. So we'll look at that first, and then talk about some variations, then we'll go through the song. And yeah, let's get cracking. Okay, so if we look at the verse, we can get the rhythm down, and that will make the rest of the song much easier. We've got a capo on the 3rd fret, and we're going to start on a C over G chord, which is a C chord, and if you move your ring finger to the G on the bass, and then bring your little finger where you were before with your ring. And the key with this is the thumb is going to keep the beat. We're going to have, so if we were playing that chord, we'd play the A string first, 1, then the D string, 2, bass, 3, back to the D string, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then what the fingers do in between doesn't really matter. To give you a sort of rough guide, we're going to go, so we'll play A string, D string, then we'll play the B string with our middle, and then the bass again, then the index finger on the G, and then thumb on the D. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. And then you could throw in another one to finish, maybe an index or a G, or a middle, sorry. Or you could just swap those around with any fingers as you like. That's kind of what he does through the song, he just keeps changing it. So once you get used to one pattern, then you can start throwing in some variations. So we're going to start with a bar of C over G. We're just going to do that first pattern that I showed you. And then we're going to do an F. You should either play it as a bar chord, or he plays it as a F major 7 with his thumb hanging over the top. And then 2 bars of C over G. So let's run through that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, once more. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we come to this G, which isn't the same. We got 2 bars of it. So it's a little walk up and down. So if we're playing G, ring finger stays where it is from the C over G, and then little finger comes to the 3rd fret of the B. And we're going to play the first bar. All these tabs are on my Patreon page, guys, as always. So you can play the bass string, then the D string, then you pick out the B string. So bass, D, thumb, thumb. Middle finger plays the B, back to the bass. Then the ring finger plays the thin string, and then the thumb on the D, index on the G. Still on that, 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and. Second half of the bar, slightly different. We're going to do a hammer on into the 1st fret of the E string with our index finger, and we're going to pick both E's at the same time in the right hand. Then this back on the D, then the open E, then back to the bass, B string, open D, and then your first finger comes to play the 1st fret of the B string to finish. Okay, so both bars together. And then we just go back to the pattern to finish on 2 bars of C over G. chorus is nice and simple. We're going to stay on that same pattern. As I say, once you get confident, throw in whatever variations you like. We're going to go with, first half of it is 2 bars of E7, which is an E chord with your ring finger off. And you can even add in your little finger to the 3rd fret of the B if you like. 4 bars of F, 2 bars of C over G. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, second half is basically the same, 2 bars of E7, 4 bars of F, but 2 bars of G, but we're just going to play a normal G rather than that kind of walk-up thing we did earlier. 1, 2, 3, 4. And for the intro, we've seen most of it already. It follows the chord progression of the verse, but there's just a few extra sort of twiddly bits. So we'll just go through it bar by bar. We are C over G to start with. And we're going to pick the A string and the B string at the same time. Then we're going to play thumb on the D, open G, and then we're going to play the bass, and then we're going to play the B string, and then we're going to play the D. Okay, then we come to F, major 7. We're going to pick the first, the B string and the E string again together. Then we pick the D string. Then we do a hammer on the G. And when you hammer on, you pick the bass. So that's the tricky bit. So they need to come down together. Then we pick the B string. Then we pick the D string and then the G. And you can either play an open, I think it sounds nicer on the open, that's what he usually does, or you can keep that middle finger down. So that middle finger comes back off or stays down. Then we come C over G. This one's much more similar to the pattern, in fact it is the pattern. Then we do that again. Okay, so that's the first half, so we'll just run through that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we do the G that we did in the verse. And then we just finish with the pattern on C, but a slight variation on the first one. So we're going to go A, D, then G, bass, B string, D, G. And then the last bar is the pattern. So that second half. Okay guys, hope you enjoyed that. You can click on another one of these videos here to watch another lesson, or I'll see you around the channel very soon.